Well, the Penguins lost 3-2 in overtime to the Detroit Red Wings. I am Dan Kingerski on the Pittsburgh Hockey Now, on the National Hockey Now YouTube channel. We're in the Penguins media room tonight. They're setting up for a concert or something out there, so we're not going to go to ice level. I don't know if we want to really break down the game tonight because it was a very timid but growing and improving game from the Penguins. It seems every mistake does wind up in the back of their net, but the reality was for the first 25 minutes, they were afraid of their own shadow. I suppose that's a hockey version of PTSD after the mugging that they administered to themselves or allowed the Dallas Stars to administer on Monday night in that 7-1 loss that spawned team meetings and a host of negative feelings and angst and anger and confusion and bewilderment. And I could go down the list of adjectives there. I think you get the idea. So it was looking grim for the Penguins again, down 2-0, middle of the second period. And that's when the team leaders, I think, stepped to the fore. Brian Rust specifically. The great goal, swooping around the defenseman, cutting across the crease, stuffing it in on the forehand past a sprawled Cam Talbot. And all of a sudden, the Penguins remembered, oh yeah, we can play hockey. And the game began to change, and the Penguins began to pick up. By the third period, the Penguins were dominating. They did to Detroit what they did to Washington last Friday, and that is allowed just 6 shots on goal. The Penguins peppered Talbot with scoring chances and opportunities, but it seemed like every great opportunity had just a little bit of bad luck. The puck rolls off Brian Rust's stick on a breakaway. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, grade A scoring chances on the power play. Their tips, they tip the puck just wide, just over the net as they look to the ceiling like, are you kidding me? So the Penguins lose, but they do so. They get the point, and I think almost to a man, they were feeling a little better about themselves because they felt that momentum. They felt the worm turn, so to speak. Now, let's get into the issue, right? Why can't the Penguins score more than a couple of goals? Why didn't they bury Detroit when they had the opportunity? Why, oh why? So many different things. Here's what we came to on the Pittsburgh Hockey Now report card. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a abbreviated post-game version of that here. And that is when you have so many fourth liners interspersed throughout the lineup, those tic-tac-toe plays, those pretty plays, or even just some of the multi-pass breakouts, eventually they're going to hit the stick of a fourth liner. And with all respect to guys like Anthony Beauvillier and Blake Lizotte and even Nola Chari and down the line, that's going to hinder you. And so Mike Sullivan is really trying to find combinations without putting Malkin and Crosby on the same line. And here's where I'm going to steer us here. Do it. Put Malkin and Crosby on the same line. I think they are 16-5 in the last 21 games, maybe 17-5, according to Bob Grove. So first of all, it can work. But two, I think Sullivan stumbled onto a solution on Wednesday. It's not one he likes. It's not one he wants. And I think he's going to have the courage to abandon what he thinks. And that is that Drew O'Connor is better on the wing. Sullivan is married to that idea. Asked last year, I think I've asked a couple of years ago, hey, what about O'Connor on the wing? And Sullivan really does believe O'Connor's better on the wing. He does have an assistant coach, however, David Quinn, who, because they're such good friends, Quinn can nudge or push or say things to Sullivan that most people probably couldn't. At the World Championships back in May, it was Quinn who put O'Connor at center, and O'Connor lit up the scoreboard. 3 goals, 5 assists in 10 games. O'Connor played center several times. It was a hodgepodge of lines for much of Wednesday, not just because Penguins center Blake Lizotte was hit in the head by a puck for the second time this season, left the game immediately. I think we know where that's going. It's just a matter of how serious. But when O'Connor played center, second line center actually, because Sullivan put Malkin and Crosby together late in the first period, it jumped the team. The next line out was actually kind of an odd mix with Valtteri Puustinen, O'Connor, and Brian Rust. Hey, scoring chances, at least with O'Connor and Rust. Puustinen, got dropped off that line pretty quickly, and Sullivan went away from that line in the second period. He kind of went back to O'Connor in the third period as a third line center, but primarily that was Achari's job. After the game, talking with a colleague who took my question, asked Sullivan, hey, is that a consideration? Are they going to put O'Connor there? And Sullivan said, yeah, it's a consideration. And it has to be. The Penguins' problem is a lack of talent. Period. Full stop. So to mitigate that, the only real solution is to take, Beauvillier, even O'Connor off the wing of Crosby's line because they don't fit there. They're not, respectfully, that's not where they should be on an NHL roster. Maybe that's a nice way of saying it, right? But O'Connor as a second line center, listen, he likes playing center. Had little birdies tell me that he even prefers it a little bit. But, hey, you get an NHL paycheck, you play where they tell you. Maybe O'Connor is that answer that allows the Penguins to keep the two-headed monster together, thus having a dynamic and productive top line and something resembling a competent second line. It's not ideal. I think the rest falls on Dubas, not Sullivan, to kind of fix this, especially after the Lars Eller trade. But there you go. I think Sullivan stumbled across it. Now, can Quinn push him across the finish line? And can Drew O'Connor take the opportunity and solidify himself in that role? That's the important part. You can put him there, but he has to perform. So the Penguins have a couple of games back-to-back, Friday and Saturday. Friday in Columbus, back home here on Saturday. Pittsburgh Hockey Now will, of course, have all the coverage. Like, subscribe, comment, share this around. We do appreciate you. And I suppose we'll find out Friday just what happens next, because that's the next time the Penguins hit the ice. From the arena in cinematic mode, I'm Dan Kingerski on Pittsburgh Hockey Now.